There was a meeting that I was in and it was going long and I could feel myself starting to get impatient, and I did this hand signal to wrap it up, and in that action I unknowingly disrespected the meeting leader. Now, we have a culture of open communication at our company, and so the next day this person told me how they felt. And in the moment, I responded with an apology, but as I was saying it, it didn't really feel genuine. Then I started to defend my position that we have to stay on time and I have a lot to do. Then I stopped myself and I said, you know what? I'm sorry again, and I moved on. So while I was working that day, I noticed that I was annoyed and felt defensive. And the chatter in my mind was definitely in fight mode. And so after about 20 minutes of mentally oscillating from distracted and then back to the fight, I moved into flight mode. So this is where I started having thoughts like, well, I just won't attend that meeting anymore. Now, seeing how ridiculous that thought was, I caught the runaway train of mind trash and I started to release it to God. So I asked myself the self-inquiry questions from the Sedona method. These are questions like, am I wanting control, approval, security, or oneness? So I asked the question and the answer was control. Then I asked it again and the answer was security, to defend. And then I asked it again and the answer was oneness, which is the opposite of separation. So trying to get away from. Now the next morning, I still felt annoyed. And so I did the questions again. And it took maybe about 30 seconds of releasing these charges to God when I got the insight, the instinct to fight or flight, that is honoring your ego actions. Instead, go towards, do something unexpected. So I asked, what do I do? And the answer was a gift. So I immediately turned and went to Starbucks. I got a coffee for the meeting leader, and then I wrote a note that said, I'm sorry. I honor your leadership and I'll be more aware of honoring your authority in meetings going forward. Now, for context, it was not easy to do that. I didn't feel a willingness to do that at first. I was still annoyed, but I had to face the resistance that was coming up in me and then keep releasing it. I chose to listen to God even though my ego was still fighting it. And so I reluctantly set that coffee and that note on the leader's desk. I took a deep breath and then I did one more release and I walked to my desk. And after I took that action, I felt much better. Now, when the leader came into the office and found the surprise, I got a hug, a thank you, and we got back to business with the negative charge completely released on both sides. So this is a real example of handling issues of conflict in business. So, who do you have a conflict with? Even though you may feel defensive, you can release that resistance and instead ask for the strength to be guided to the right resolution. The goodness is on the other side of the resistance, but you have to go through the resistance to get to the good. Remember, you are the leader that we have all been waiting for, and I'm just here to help you remember the strength that's inside of you. So give me your heart. I promise to be good to it. Click the heart below and follow me if you're a courageous leader who is ready to stop honoring fear, to start operating in the zone, and to step into your potential.